Hi there. I am Jackie. This is the story of how my husband led me to plastic surgery addiction. We were a pretty normal couple and had a normal relationship. To me, life seemed pretty good, so I thought. And in a couple of years, we had 2 handsome boys. Then my postpartum depression kicked in. But I had no idea I was depressed. I began excluding myself and resorted to being an emotional eater. In no time I had significantly added weight. I felt disgusted about myself whenever I looked into the mirror. This worsened my depression and I felt ugly. My husband, on the other hand, didn't help the situation. Rather, he acted disgusted whenever he saw me eating, but looking back, a lot had changed. And I mean a lot. The business trips become more frequent, and not to mention the frequent late nights. And he also changed his phone security code. How did this pass me by? And in no time I started to hear rumors that he had met another woman. A young curvaceous lady for that case. The worst happened when I walked to a shopping mall that I knew he frequented, and right there I saw his hand on hand with the young lady. My heart stopped and shuddered a million times. I was so confused to approach them, and I went running the opposite side to hide from them. So I decided to do some investigation, and I got to find out she worked as a receptionist at my husband's company. I decided to meet her and question who my husband was to her. And from afar I pretended to be friendly and inquiring about the company. I then mentioned that she looked familiar and that I had seen her in the mall with some man. And with excitement, she confirmed the worst. It was her boyfriend. Without saying a word about their affair, I left hurriedly. I loved my husband and I was ready to do anything to win the high back, and yeah, I know how foolish that sounds. But I had 2 kids with this man and I was not ready to lose him. After a year of depression and blaming myself for my husband's affair, I decided to make a change. As expected, I started to eat healthily and go into the gym, but the changes seemed to slow. It's at this point that I tried my first plastic surgery after a friend's advice. My first surgical procedure was to get a tummy tuck, and damn did I look good. This was the first time I got to see my husband notice me, and so I was motivated. I now felt I needed to change every inch of my body. After a month I was back to my doctor, for him to fix my saggy armpit, and well, it worked. In the next 2 years, I was back and forth for different procedures. I fixed my underarms and made them tighter. I then fixed my butt, which I had some implants fixed, got lip fillers, got some cheek lifts, and finally got my breast enlarged. Somehow it fixed my relationship, since my husband never felt ashamed of being around me. But the damage had already been done and things were never going to be the same. With a new confidence, I confronted my husband on the affair I knew about. This was years later. With a speck on his face, he admitted to it, apologized, but revealed he had stopped the affair after his office mate knew about it. However, this did not better our relationship, since I had found a new hobby: partying with my friends. With my new body and my kids now all grown up, I spent most of my nights out. A few years later my aging body started to show, and I was in another round of back and forth to see my doctor. I kept fixing almost anything on my body that did not please me. Without realizing, I was already an addict to cosmetic surgery. My body was so artificial that I looked botched. Now everyone was talking ill of my addiction and body, and in a few years, I was isolated. My husband was now turning to be a good family man. I think it comes with age, and I also decided to stop and be a better wife and mother.